All right, welcome back to the Your Future Endeavors Wrestling Podcast. I'm Diavolo. Unfortunately, Lunchbox will not be with us this week as he is recovering from an illness. I wish him the best. And he plans on being back next week, so just keep him in your thoughts. And yeah, we'll continue on. We'll continue on as normal this week, except it'll just be me. So. Um, We'll be starting off, per usual. We go by each weekly show in the order that they aired, and that means we'll be starting off with Monday Night Raw, which opened up with Big E. He opened the show, came down prior to the show on this day. He announced that I believe it was over Twitter that he planned on cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on this night. Um, There was a big match set up in the main event between Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship, and he fully intended on cashing in his Money in the Bank contract, um, which added a little extra flavor throughout the show. I can't deny that. But yeah, he came out, he opened the show, his music hit, he got a really loud pop, and then you had RK Bro kind of come down to the ring also. It really it just kind of followed him, and then the Hurt Business, being MVP and Lashley, they came out third. Um, there was a promo cut there. It was to a point where like Biggie established that, yeah, like, I am going to cash in my Money in the Bank contract tonight. Riddle was like, just don't cash in on Randy. That wouldn't be cool. He's doing his little thing. Um, it's just just doing his best to be up Randy's ass at all times. Um, but as far as like the whole segment goes, I thought this was really good. There was really good promo work all around. And then towards the end of the segment here, we had Randy Orton hit an RKO on Bobby Lashley. Um, I liked this open because it felt different. Obviously, like we don't get a whole lot of times where uh, where the where the Money in the Bank holder really truly announces their intentions to cash in. Usually, it's like a last second thing or a surprise. And in this instance here, it was very interesting to see uh, that he did call it out ahead of time. Like Babe Ruth, he called a shot and hit a home run. Um, but yeah, as far as the segment, really good promo work all around. The ending with the RKO was really great, and Biggie was established early as kind of this looming threat to the championship, and they made you think. Just like, is he really? It's still like he kept saying it over and over that he was gonna do it, but it made you think. It was like, is he really gonna do it? There's gonna be some big swerve here, isn't there? Because usually not everybody gets what they want or says what they're gonna do in WWE, but um, all around this was a really good setup here. Great intro to the show. I couldn't be mad about it. Moving on, we had a Charlotte Flair promo. She had a match against Shayna set up later in the night. Actually, I believe it was the next segment. And I thought it was good. It was essentially just setting up the match. Charlotte's really good on the mic, and Shayna's a really good opponent for her. So um, I thought this was good also. Um, and this is a match that without all of the without all the outside factors, so to speak, I think this would be a really good standalone one-on-one match. Um, Even if it was for a championship down the road, I mean, Shayna's a great wrestler who should be in a single spot, and it was good to see her finally have that attention. Um, but yeah, following the promo, we did have the match. It was Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler, and there was kind of like an ode to last week. The match starts, everything's going fine. Then Nia Jax comes out to be at ringside. Her and Shayna are technically tag team partners, so um, they there's been some tension there. But Nia Jax does come out to the ring, um, and stands ringside. As far as the match goes, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not mad about it at all. Um, it wasn't a 5-star match. It wasn't a 1-star match. It was serviceable. Um, Essentially, Nia kind of got payback on Shayna this week for costing her the title last week, where Nia distracted Shayna into a loss. I believe she took a big boot was uh, and was out for the count then. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte Flair wins. But a lot of the talking points come from after this match, where Alexa Bliss, her music hits. She came out after the match was over, and it looked like she was carrying what to be. It looked like a Christmas gift in her arms. She was carrying that down to the ring, and she began to cut a promo on Charlotte. She essentially was like trying to convince Charlotte to take the gift. Charlotte was like, "I don't want the gift. I don't want the gift, but I do like gifts, so I'm gonna take it." She eventually does take the gift from Alexa after a good bit of promo work there. I think she put her ear up to it for a little bit and was like, "Oh well, it's not ticking," which is I thought it was funny because obviously like a lot of people think Alexa's fucking crazy. So I thought it was cool. She checked to see if there wasn't a bomb in there, which I probably would too, honestly. Something I probably would have done. Um, so she did that, and then she opened it and pulled out a doll, which had a huge resemblance to Lily, but also to Charlotte. Um, Charlotte pulls the doll out, looks at it. Alexa dubs it the Charlie doll, and I believe like once there was this announcement, um, the crowd started chanting Charlie, Charlie, which I thought was really cool. A lot of people are seeming to really get behind Alexa Bliss and her character, and I'm all for that. That's really dope. Um, but yeah, so um, moving on, Alexa cut a promo, and she was just like, it was a really good promo from Alexa, probably one of the best promos of the week, where she was like, I know what you're gonna say. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything because I'm the queen. But then she said the line, everyone deserves a friend, even a narcissistic, self-absorbed bitch like you. And I thought this was great. It got a huge pop out of me. I watched it over a couple different times because it's one of those where I couldn't believe what it was that she said, and it was definitely it definitely took me by surprise. I'll say that. But yeah, this was great. Um, excuse me. Yeah, everyone deserves a friend, even a narcissistic, self-absorbed bitch like you. It got a huge reaction out of the crowd. They had a brawl afterwards where Alexa ended up getting the upper hand. I believe she hit like a sunset flip power bomb, and held the title over her head to signify that she wants to be the next Raw Women's Champion, and I can't be mad about that. She is seemingly, at least with this crowd, was hella over, and that's great because we've gone from um, a time where every time she came out, we were getting "We Want Wyatt" chants, to now we're having her in a Raw Women's title picture where people are behind her, and a lot of people want to see her win the title, and I kind of do also. So hopefully she does. I would like to see it, and maybe Charlotte will take the draft journey over to SmackDown, and maybe she can feud with Becky Lynch in the near future. That would be cool. But yeah, as far as that segment goes, I really liked it. It was one of the highlights of the week for me, as far as like the promo work went, and I look forward to seeing that match at Extreme Rules in about a week. Next, we had Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. It was a ambush before the match started. Um, Jinder, Veer, and Shanky ambushing Drew. They got to the ring, and the match was pretty quick. I felt like this was pointless, but the match itself was okay. I don't know if they're just trying to like put McIntyre or hold off putting McIntyre into like a solid feud because they plan on drafting him to SmackDown um, in the coming weeks or what. But this was it was okay at best. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't a standout part of the night for sure. Um, so yeah, hopefully they find something more for Drew. I know the rumors are that he's probably going to be drafted, so um, we shall see kind of what happens with them. Also with the Viking Raiders, I want to see them be an established feud. They're a really good tag team, and it's a shame that we don't get to see more of them. Um, so hopefully we do, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that segment. Moving on, we had a promo from the New Day backstage, which I thought was really good because Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E are back there. They're hyping him up for his cash in, really putting over the fact that Big E was going to be cashing in. I think Big E kind of asked Kofi for advice. Was like, hey, like what do I do? He was kind of like, hey, like what do I do here? And Kofi was like, nah, bro, you're ready. You were built for this, and he is. Big E is. He probably should be a multiple-time WWE champion by now, but unfortunately, things don't always work out like that. But this was great. Just seeing Big E and with the New Day back, it just feels right, and I think this was a good call. Um, to have him come and cash in on Monday Night Raw on Bobby Lashley. So to have the promo back there with them, seeing all three of them together was really great. Was not mad about it at all. Um, the next segment was probably like is the worst part of the night for me. We had well, debatably the worst part. It was a 24/7 title segment backstage, which was essentially the same thing that we've been seeing throughout all the segments, where uh, it was like Reggie is going around flipping through over across stuff. He's parkouring around while the 24/7 title goons are chasing him, trying to get a taste of some championship gold in WWE. So he's back there. Once again, Tozawa and R-Truth kind of like had like a little face off, and then Drake Maverick in his suit came back, and he was like, he said something to the effect of, uh, the plan was great, but the execution was bad, and it was a very quick segment. It was probably took all of 60 seconds, and I feel like this title is directionless. I don't know why Drake Maverick is on Raw. I feel like that's weird considering just like the trajectory of his career the last couple of years. He went from being on Raw in the 24/7 title picture back to NXT, released, um, semi pseudo whatever, re-signed. He gets re-signed because I think he lost to Santos Escobar in the NXT Cruiserweight title tournament or something, and then um, hasn't really done much since. So it seems like he's just kind of back where he started. But I hope something comes of this new uh, what is seemingly a new gimmick that he has going on here. So we shall see moving forward what happens. But um, pardon me. Yeah, this segment was just boring and bad. This was like the quick piss break segment for me. Afterwards, we had what is possibly could possibly considered like like a dream match. We had Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus was on commentary here, and I thought this was a really good match. There was a couple of nasty bumps in there. Um, it was nice to see Jeff in this spot. You know, obviously being a former WWE champion, I don't see him being in the main event again in WWE. I hate to say it, as much as I think he deserves it, and a lot of people think that he deserves it because he can still put on good matches. Um, it's better to see him in the U.S. title picture than in the 24/7 title picture. I'll say that. Um, this was a good match. Uh, and they did a really good job here. I like what they're doing. They're establishing Priest as like a solid threat. And I think even though he's had the U.S. title for a short time, he's proven that he can hang and that he could go in the main event if necessary. So um, I look forward to seeing what happens in his future because I think he's a future WWE champion as long as they don't release him. Uh, but yeah, the match itself was good. Um, like I said, Sheamus was on commentary. He was talking a bunch of shit, and he, after Priest won the match, kind of attacked both of them. Uh, I believe the attack was mostly focused on Damian Priest. I don't think Jeff got involved in it at all, actually. Um, but yes, he attacked him after the bell. Priest kind of fought him off, checked on Jeff Hardy, and that was the end of the segment. I thought this was really good. What is it? Priest versus Hardy is a match I think they had some pretty good chemistry, and I would love to see this again. I can't be mad about what we saw as far as the match goes. So, moving on, we had a Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH promo, where they're just kind of talking back and forth on the mic. Natalia and Tamina interrupted them. Um, more promo work ensued. It led to a brawl where Sonya Deville came in, broke them up. We were gonna have a match later on at the night. It was gonna be Rhea Ripley versus Natalia, I believe, and obviously with the brawl, Sonya broke them up, said that she knew how to solve this. Um, and she was gonna put, I believe it was verbatim, she was gonna have Tamina go against Nikki AHS, which obviously is not the acronym that is used for her name. I believe even Corey Graves in commentary was like AHS. That's American Horror Story. Uh, yeah, it was a slight misstep, missay. Um, and he made it a little bit funnier. So at least I noticed that she said it. He noticed. So um, but yeah, so it happens to the best of us. But yeah, there was like a little bit of a botch there. Um, as far as the promo goes, I thought it was okay. Um, it was not the greatest promo I've ever seen in my life, but it was serviceable for the moment that it was, and I can't really be mad about it. Then it was gonna be Nikki versus Tamina next, but they've been kind of WWE likes to do this thing where they go to commercial, um, where somebody like is going to the ring and then they come back from commercial and they cut another promo, which I think is kind of weird, but I digress. Um, they went to commercial, came back, and then it was RK Bro in the back. Um, and Riddle was just babbling off a bunch of nonsense, while Randy was like trying to get focused for his world title match, being a 14-time world champion. He is obviously trying to focus up. He is close to that 16 number, which is like, coveted in the industry, and yeah, like I said, Riddle was back there babbling off a bunch of nonsense. Randy was trying to use his headphones to focus and like tune him out. And then Big E kind of walked back there, and he He was like, "Oh, this is not my locker room," and he was being coy, but he definitely had the intentions to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Uh, so yeah, I thought this was good. It just kept establishing more that Big E was like this looming threat, and I thought it was a really good segment. Um, but yeah, moving on. We had, let's see, we had, it was Nikki versus Tamina next. I thought the match was okay, but the main talking point was what happened at the end here. There was a huge botch ending, like, like it was bad. It was really, really bad, botch. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nikki Ash hits Tamina with a cross body from the ropes. Um, she goes for the pin. Ref goes 1, 2. Tamina kicked out, and then hit 3. It looked so wonky. Uh, uh, he hits 3, calls Nikki Ash the winner. They go onto the mic to announce it, and the announcer says that Tamina's won the match, and then her music played, and I was like, "What the fuck was this? Like, this is so bad." It was a clear botch. I think they planned to kind of 50-50 the booking here, where Tamina would go over Nikki, and then Rhea would go over Natalia, but they kind of fucked up here and had Nikki beat Tamina, even though they played Tamina's Tamina's music after the victory. Um, Yeah, this was wonky. There was a lot of confusion going on. It killed the whole segment because of the botch for me, and yeah, I was not really a fan of what happened here, just because it left me confused. It didn't leave me entertained. It left me confused, and I don't really enjoy that personally. Um, Moving on, we had next was Rhea Ripley versus Natalia, which I thought was a really good match. It was like a double distraction spot here, um, where I believe it was Tamina and Nikki Ash. Um, they both got on the ropes and uh, got like semi-involved in the match, and it was okay. It was an okay match. Rhea ended up getting the victory. I believe she tapped Natalia out. It wasn't really anything to phone home about, um, but it seems like they're going to be going in that direction for the women's tag team titles. What I don't understand though is why aren't Shotzi and Tegan Knox getting that opportunity, considering they are 3-0 against them, um, whether it be in singles matches or in tag team matches, they are 3-0 against the champs. So I'm not really sure what to do or how to feel about this. Um, yeah, like I said, not particularly sure how to feel about it, but hopefully the match, whenever it does come, is good. Um, we had another Charlotte Flair promo following this backstage, where I believe Sarah Schreiber is her name, went to interview her. Before the interview even started, Charlotte noticed the doll that Alexa Bliss had gave her was backstage. She found it, ends up throwing it in the trash, which I believe they'll probably turn into an angle here. I believe I'm filming this on Sunday night. It seems like this will be like a reoccurring thing. I don't see where the Charlie doll does not come back into play. But we shall see. We shall see. Um, Following this, we had an 8-man tag team match. We had The New Day, Mansoor, and Ali. The New Day being Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus AJ Styles, Omos, Mace, and T-Bar. Um, I thought the match itself was okay. The main thing I was happy about was there wasn't a roll-up finish. Omos hit Ali with the double choke slam to end the match here. Um, there were some cool spots. There was a spot where AJ Styles was in the face side's corner, um, and Kofi, Xavier, and Mansoor are all like tagging each other in and out to to keep kicking AJ Styles. They were just stomping a mud hole in him in the corner, and they kept tagging out, tagging out, tagging out. But they weren't including Ali. He was getting really pissed. He ended up tagging himself in, which kind of killed all the momentum. But yeah, this was good. I was not mad about what happened here. I just want to see kind of more of a direction between all these teams. But I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. Next up, we had a promo from MVP and Lashley, also known as the Hurt Business. It was just kind of setting up the title match later on in the night with Randy Orton, um, and I thought this was good, especially. I believe MVP was said that Big E was not a threat, and he uh, interrupted them by yelling "boo" from the background. It's like he just got closer and closer and closer. I thought it was really funny, and you can't help but love Big E. He's so fucking hilarious. You gotta love the guy for sure. Um, yeah, this was good, man. And I look forward to seeing what happens moving forward because we'll talk more about it in a second, but um, what's the direction going to be for all these guys is very interesting, especially since they've freshened up Raw a little bit. We'll say that. Um, Following this, we had the Dewdrop versus Eva Marie match. It was quick. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Um, it seemed to be more of getting Dewdrop over, which I'm cool with. You know, she obviously is a great talent. She's put on some very good matches over in NXT UK under the Piper Niven name. Um, she knows what the fuck she's doing, and I was not mad that she picked up a victory here. It was quick. It's good to see the feud be over with, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Moving forward, we had a Karrion Cross promo, which I thought was actually really good. He came across as a, as a menacing heel, and just the way that he was speaking, the way that he was talking. This promo was exactly what we want to see from Karrion Cross, not him dressed up in the gimpy, like wannabe Spartan attire, with the mask coming down to the ring. That's not what we want to see. It's hokey. It makes his gimmick feel hokey. Him sitting backstage in a suit, fucking. Uh, just talking crazy. That's what we want to see because that's exactly who his character was established as over in NXT. So hopefully they continue more of this moving forward with him. But time time will tell. No pun intended here. Um, and that leads us into the ending segment of the night, where it is Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley. This is one of the highlights of the week for me. Um, Solid match. Um, Obviously, Orton versus Lashley is a match they could revisit any time for the championship or without the championship. This was great. Um, they had a clean-ish finish. There was like some distractions going on outside. Riddle and MVP were getting into it, and Randy got distracted a little bit. Randy turns around. Bobby hits him with the spear, and pins him 1, 2, 3. Gets the W. Then proceeded to ambush Riddle and Orton backstage, or not backstage. I apologize. Ringside. He ambushes them. He picks up Orton for like this slam onto the table or through the table. Uh, I can't remember if the table broke or not, but in the process of this, he played like a tweak of the knee spot. So it looked like he like messed up his knee pretty bad. He's like, oh shit, oh fuck. Um, and then as soon as like the injury happened, he's trying to get back in the ring. Big E's music hits. We got a huge pop because it just kind of confirmed to everyone that okay, like he is actually gonna cash in here. Um, and obviously, like I said before, it was kind of unsure whether or not he was going to do this. I thought this was great. Um, as far as the segment up until the cash in, really good work. The two were great in the ring. And I would like to see the match again in the future, whether it be for a title or not. I thought they had really good chemistry. But yes, Big E did come out. They went to commercial break, like right in the middle of the cash in, so it was like you were left like with this looming thought of like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen here? What the fuck is going on? Blah blah blah. Um, yeah, but like I said, I thought it was good. Um, and we ended up getting a pretty interesting segment from the cash in. So Biggie obviously he cashes in. The match starts. Bobby's kind of working this injury. He was trying to like plead to the refs like, oh yeah, like I'm not good to go. I'm not good to go. It didn't matter. They started the match anyway. Biggie walked up and slapped Lashley, which just infuriated him, and then proceeded to like kind of beat the shit out of Big E for a moment there. Hit him with a spear. Got a really close near fall finish. Um, and yeah, it was really close. Like for a second, I was thinking like, oh shit, like they really just kind of fed Big E to Bobby for no reason. But that's not what they did. Obviously, Big E kicked out. He hit like a spear chop block type thing onto Lashley's hurt knee. Kind of took advantage of the match going forward from there. Hit the big ending. You hear one, you hear two, you hear three. Crowd goes crazy. Big E is your new WWE champion, which I thought was great, man. This is this was fucking beautiful to see. It's so nice to see Big E be in that spot. Um, and I hope that they do him justice. Um, it's well deserved. He's done so much to earn this opportunity over the years, and I hope, like I said, I hope they give him a lengthy title reign, and I'm interested to see where it is moving forward. Uh, Fuck, man, this was great, and it was really just the perfect cherry on top for the night. Is like we were told it was gonna happen. We weren't sure it was gonna happen. They kept trying to establish that it was gonna happen, and then it happened. And I can't be mad about this. This was perfect in every way, and yeah, I couldn't be more happy. Even after he won, he was out there celebrating with his New Day brothers, um, and it was good to see the emotion on their face. And hopefully, moving forward in the future, maybe Xavier Woods can be a WWE or World Champion of some kind. Um, as they continue to build up their Hall of Fame resume here. And so they're it's great to see. I'm interested to see the direction with Big E moving forward. Does he reunite with the New Day? Um, does he does he continue on as like a single star, kind of like doing his own thing? Like who does he feud with next? I think we'll get some more answers on that in a second, but um, yeah, this was great. As far as Raw as a whole, I gave it a 8 out of 10. Um, a lot of the meat and potatoes of what happened in Raw was in the beginning and the end and like the promo segments. But it's really hard to be negative about Raw this week, considering that we did get a brand new WWE champion and a first-time WWE champion in Big E. It's just it's beautiful to see. You love to see it. Um, cannot be mad about this at all. So, congratulations to Big E. Well deserved, man. And yeah, we'll be moving on. We had NXT next, which was dubbed as NXT 2.0, which is a little weird, but the new set for the show looks really good. I'm glad to see that the plexiglass isn't there anymore. It's a whole new vibe. It's a whole new vibe. It's got a little. eh, How do I put it? It's got a little bit of Full Sail in it. Like it doesn't have the stands and like the atmosphere that Full Sail did, but it's got a little bit of like indie house show mixed with mixed with that Full Sail environment, which I it can't be mad about. Um, but yeah, so this was good. NXT opened up. It was Tommaso Ciampa, Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, and LA Knight. They all cut a promo. It was very quick, each within their own character, obviously. Um, they were all really good, all really quick, and it was just hyping up the main event. And I thought this, I thought it was good. It's very cool whenever they open the show, just with some hype. It usually always goes over well. So I was not mad about the work here. We had LA Knight backstage. He was interrupted by a new face, which is kind of going to be the theme of the night. We had a bunch of new faces show up. We had Braun Breaker, which I believe is Rick Steiner's son, which is crazy. Um, and I just fuck, like I thought this was interesting. They're not using the Steiner name for him for some reason. I don't know if there's any reason why they wouldn't, but they chose not to, which is okay, I guess. Um, But Braun Breaker interrupted LA Knight backstage and was kind of like, it's like, oh, I'm trying to establish myself here. Like, let's have a match. And for some reason, LA Knight decided to accept this, even though he had a match later on in the night where it was literally like the biggest match of his career for the NXT Championship. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know why LA Knight was put in the spot for the opening match and main event. Um, but I'm okay with it, I guess. Maybe it'd have been better off if somebody else was in this spot, but I think I see kind of like why they did it. We'll get into that a little bit later. Um, but they did end up having a match. It was LA Knight versus Braun Breaker, and I thought the match was pretty good. It was highly unexpected. I had never seen Breaker in a ring before, so this was fresh. Um, and fuck, he ended up catching the W here, where it was like he did like this press above his head of LA Knight, which turned into a power slam. He ended up getting the 1 2 3 on him, and I was kind of shocked because how often is it that you get these fresh faces just showing up and getting a win the first time out, right? So yeah, I thought this was good, and there was a small segment backstage where he was celebrating with some people that were on the NXT roster. They were congratulating him, and he looked hyped up, and I thought this was good, man. I look forward to seeing where both go moving forward, especially Braun Breaker. It seems like they have a lot invested in him very early. Um, with him being like, it seems like I think that was his first match straight out of developmental, and they put him in a pretty huge spot. So it's very interesting to see what happens moving forward with that. Um, moving on, we had it was Imperium versus Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, which is another fresh face. Um, it's a new tag team pairing they have here. I thought they looked really good. It was a losing effort for Briggs and Jensen. I don't think they're going to go over Imperium just yet, of course. Um, but I thought this match was really good. They impressed me. Apparently, Jensen is like 20 years old, which is crazy to me. That he looked that good in the ring and was that new. Um, this is so fucking good, man. And Imperium obviously got the W here, but it's nice to see that they're kind of establishing more throughout the tag team division, more teams throughout that. And it was good. They looked great. Um, so hopefully moving forward, we get more from them. Moving on, we had a Hit Row promo where they were kind of hyping up B Fab because she was going to have her first one-on-one match uh, um, in WWE. I don't think she's had a match yet, so like at all. Like I can't remember the last time I've seen BFAB in a ring wrestling. So this was interesting. They were all hyping her up, and this was one of my favorite parts of NXT. I love this group. They are incredible at what they do, um, and I cannot be mad um, at that at all. We had the BFAB match versus Katrina Cortez, I believe her name is. She's been on NXT a couple times before. I thought the match was solid, very solid. It's kind of established. It was establishing BFAB more as a threat. Um, where she looked really good in the ring. I can't complain about anything that happened at all. She looked very strong, and she ended up getting a clean finish here. Um, Next, afterwards, we had a promo from her in like the rest of Hit Row, and she's really good on the mic, which is like a huge plus. Like if you're really good on the mic, you'll probably make it in WWE, which is it's all about the storytelling. So she is great at what she does, and I'm looking forward to see more matches from her in the future. But yeah, she was very good on the mic here. Legato kind of came out, interrupted. They were talking shit back and forth, and they had a bit of a face off, and that was essentially the end of the segment. All right, moving on. We had it was Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes, and Odyssey Jones. They were backstage. I loved the outfits that they had for Loomis and Indy's wedding. They were all dressed up like Loomis in his like the black T-shirt and the pants and the black gloves. I thought it was really cool. It was it was a nice touch, and it definitely got a chuckle out of me. But during the promo, Austin Theory returned to NXT after being gone for some time. They were essentially like, "Oh, you ran away." He was like, "Yeah, I did, but I couldn't miss the wedding." You know what I mean? So I couldn't miss that. But yeah, he ended up returning. They had a little funny back and forth there. And then Damian Priest came back with them because Theory was like, I have a guest. He was like, I have a guest. I brought a priest with me, and Damian Priest came back up there, and he was like, Hey, it's an open bar, right? So he was just there to get slizzard. Um, I wasn't mad about that at all. It's nice to see Damian Priest on TV at all. So um, so yeah, it's this whole segment was was really good, and it really just kind of set up more for what was going to happen later on in the night with the wedding. Um, Following this, we had a Carmelo Hayes promo. He came down with a uh, with seeming what looked like to be a friend. We hadn't seen him kind of align with anybody yet. Um, it was really good. He had the title opportunity contract that he won in the breakout tournament with him, and essentially he cut a promo where he was like, I've noticed like around here, the way to be successful is through the numbers game. He was like, so why not bring a friend? And he introduces us all to Trick Williams, who kind of played like the devil on his shoulder a little bit, where he was like no one's gonna disrespect you. Like we gotta take what's ours and this, that, and the other. He was kind of like playing the devil on the shoulder role a little bit. Um, and there was seemingly a bit of a heel turn here, or not. If it wasn't a heel turn, at least it was him showing an edgier side to him. He uh, I'm sorry, I got lost in my notes here. Um, but he introduced Trig. There was a bit of a heel turn. They go to leave after cutting the segment. Duke Hudson interrupted him, essentially said that Mello was lucky to get the victory over him in the tournament. It looked like Hudson was going to be coming out for a match next, and
essentially Trick stopped him on the way up the ramp and was like, "You gonna let him talk to you like that? Like you gonna let him do that shit?" And then fucking they went down and beat the unholy hell out of Duke Hudson. And they look good doing it. So I thought this was good. It's good to see a little bit more edge out of Mello. Um, and I hope that he continues that moving forward. This is really good to see. It was fresh. And maybe they even continue with Duke Hudson and Carmelo Hayes having a bit of a feud um, for like the next couple of weeks or something. It'd be interesting to see. Um, Following this, we had a bit of a. It was a short segment, but it was interesting because it had like it had a bit of a setup here. So it was Gigi Dolan and JC Jane backstage, and it looked like they were admiring something, like they were talking to somebody, and like they were like, "Oh, you look great." And then there was like a hooded figure, which we kind of assumed to be Mandy Rose. They didn't show her face, obviously, um, and um, yeah, she was standing back there in a hood, and they were like, "Oh, you look great! Like this new look suits you so well." And then like they cut it there. I thought this was pretty good, um, but I feel like with what we got later, I feel like they could have like merged these two segments together in a way. We'll talk about that in a second. Um, Anyway, so yeah, but next on the card here we had Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Now, um, they had a tag team match because last week um, Gigi and JC and Mandy ambushed Casey and Caden after their loss in the women's tag team title match. Uh, I thought I thought the match itself was pretty good. There was a bit of a disrespectful moment where they kind of cut the, at least disrespectful in my eyes, they cut the match uh, into it's like a segmented area or I call it segment. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but they brought it was like picture in picture almost. But they brought up what was happening backstage, and Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland were beating the unholy hell out of Kyle O'Reilly, and then he got saved by somebody that whose name we did not know at the time, but is confirmed for later on. Um, and yeah, this man, I don't think we needed to have the ambush spot happened during the match. I think the match should have been left alone. Um, and instead of doing the the new Mandy Rose segment beforehand, they could have done the O'Reilly ambush as like a standalone thing, and then maybe just merged all of what happened after that into one segment to save some time. But the match was okay, the reason I only say okay was because Gigi and Dolan were like they kind of had they were kind of like on their heels a bit. They were losing, and then Mandy came down, ran interference, and got involved. It was a DQ finish, and then she like the whole point of this was essentially for Mandy Rose to debut her new look. She dyed her hair from blonde to brunette. She looks good. Don't get me wrong. She looks great, but I feel like if the whole reveal was gonna be um, for her to debut a new look. I don't think they needed to have like that backstage segment teasing it, and then to do the ambush in the middle of the match and have her run interference because she ran interference, she debuted the new look, and then Saray ran down and attempted to save them. Um, and then by being Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter, she tried to save them. It didn't really work out for her that well, and I feel like they didn't need to do the interference spot to get her new look over. I feel like if she'd have done it at all, it'd have been fine. Um, so I think there was a bit of a wasted time here, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. We did end up getting a six-woman tag between Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, Saray. They went against obviously Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and Mandy Rose. There was a "This is awesome" chant in the match, which always signifies that it's getting over with the crowd.
Can't complain about that. Um, it was a really good match. Mandy ended up getting the victory here. I can't be mad about it. I mean, I'm interested to see where they all go moving forward. Obviously, it was a bit janky getting to the finish there, but I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with all these women. They're all very talented, so um, like I said, hopefully wherever they go moving forward is in a positive direction. Um, moving on, we had a William Regal promo backstage where oh, I'm sorry. Before that, we had Indy promo backstage where she was just essentially prepping for the wedding. It wasn't anything too crazy. Following that, we did have the Regal promo where um, he essentially confirmed that Kyle O'Reilly wasn't going to be able to compete in the match due to some injuries suffered by the hands of Pete Dunne and Rich Holland. They have officially taken him out of the match. I'm sorry. In his place would be the man who kind of saved him, and his name is Von Wagner. He has not appeared on WWE TV at all. He is fresh out of developmental. Um, and he would be taking his place. So it's really cool for your first ever match to be in fucking the the main event NXT World Championship spot. Like I thought that was really good. Um, and he did deliver. It was good. Um, we'll get into the match later on, but yeah, they did confirm that O'Reilly would be out of the match. It seems like there just is a lot of adversity kind of against Kyle O'Reilly. Like I don't know exactly where he goes from here. I think he feuds with O'Reilly, not O'Reilly. I'm sorry. He feuds with Pete Dunne or Ridge Holland moving forward, most likely. But um, yeah, it was interesting. I'll say that it was interesting. Um, Following this, we had Ridge Holland versus Drake Maverick, which I mean he was just on Raw the other night, so it was interesting to see him here. But there was nothing really special about this match. It was a very quick squash, um, and Ridge Holland is continuing to look dominant. Yeah, hopefully he continues to do so, and we'll find out more about what's happening with Drake Maverick moving forward. Moving on, we had a quick string of promos here. We had a Tommaso Champion, Tommaso Ciampa promo backstage where he essentially was the whole point of it was very quick. He essentially the whole point was for him to say that he wanted redemption and that he wanted Goldie back. Um, which he's obviously always been obsessed with Goldie. That's like it's like his child. So uh, he wants redemption, uh, and he wants Goldie back. I believe he referenced it was 908 days since he last held the NXT Championship, and he even had it later on the night, like in the match. He had 908 on his wrist tape, which I thought was a really cool touch. But nothing incredibly special about the promo. It was just a Tommaso Ciampa promo. It's essentially like you know exactly what you're gonna get. It was good work, but yeah, he just wanted redemption and Goldie. Next up, we had a promo from another new face, Tony D'Angelo, who had this like Sopranos vibe to him, and essentially he came out and was saying he was talking about money and how he makes money, how his family makes money, um, and they decided to use this as a package in order to signify that his debut is coming soon. So look forward to that in the coming weeks here. Next up, we had the Creed brothers again with another match against a couple jobbers. I didn't catch their names. I apologize. I don't want to disrespect them, but they were essentially just jobbers. One of my favorite parts about the match is like they hype each other up by slapping each other in the face, and they use that as the way to like tag each other in.
It seems they just kind of slap each other in the face to tag tag each other in, which I thought is cool. Like these dudes are fucking intense. Um, like yeah, they're intense, man. They beat the hell out of these guys again. They're looking really solid as a team. I'm looking forward to where they go moving forward, man. I think Diamond Mine has struck gold here with this team. So they made quick work of the jobbers, obviously, which then led to a promo, which I really like Malcolm Bivens on the mic. He's really good. He was introducing their newest member, Ivy Nile, which is another new face. Apparently, she was on the Titans games, which was one of the Rock's television shows. Um, so yeah, she was on that. So you may have recognized her before. But this was really good. I couldn't be mad about it. During the promo, Kushida returned. He was out with COVID. If I believe correctly, he was positive for COVID-19. Ended up going out for a while, and now he is clear to compete again. He's back, and so we got some confirmation that next week will be the Cruiserweight Championship match between Roderick Strong and Kushida, and I can't wait. I'm excited to see what they do with this. I think this is going to be probably one of the highlights of the week next week, so I am excited to see what happens moving forward here. Moving on, we had the Fatal 4-Way NXT Championship match. It was Pete Dunne, LA Knight, Tommaso Ciampa, and Von Wagner. Um, I thought the start to this was very chaotic, but it was great. They put on a really good match. Everybody got their moves in. They were a little pressed for time, so maybe they were doing it a bit. They were going a bit quick here, but I was really impressed with everybody, including Von Wagner. There was a spot where he genuinely looked like he was gonna win a couple times. Like he was right there to get a W. I believe he hit his finisher on to LA Knight. Got a very close two fall. Tommaso Ciampa ended up breaking it up. LA Knight took Ciampa's promo. Uh, He took Ciampa's promo. He took Ciampa's finisher, and it ended up being where Tommaso Ciampa got the win here, which I was not expecting. I actually thought they were going to go with Pete Dunne, because I felt like he was next up. Um, but I'm not mad about it. I think Tommaso Ciampa can fill the role that Samoa Joe did very with the title very well, and yeah, I'm interested to see kind of like what they do moving forward. Um, Especially with Joe and with Champa. I think we'll get a little bit more answers there. But yeah, the match was great. I loved it, and Champa gets Goldie back, which is it's always good to see them two together, man. What a great reunion. Um, and as far as all these guys moving forward, I believe we'll probably get a Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly feud coming up next. Um, I'm interested to see what happens with LA Knight, and especially with Von Wagner in his first outing, being in the NXT Championship match. He looked really good, um, and they made it look like he was an actual threat. I mean, he was literally a count away from winning the championship if Ciampa didn't interrupt him. Um, so yeah, really good work. Um, and I look forward to seeing what happens moving forward here. Um, Next up, we did have the Index wedding. um, Obviously, Dexter Loomis and Indy Hartwell are getting married, and this segment was very interesting in a lot of ways. We'll go ahead and get into that. So before they had the ring set up, and before I think they went to like a commercial break, like shortly after this happened. They had some people walking down to the ring. I believe we saw Zoe Stark, Io Shirai. There was a couple other faces there, but GYV, the Grizzled Young Veterans, um, were essentially just like talking shit about the wedding. They expected some carnage to break out because it is a WWE wedding. It never goes as planned. So, um, so yeah, like I said, I thought it was good. Like the pre segment going into
going into the commercial break here. Um, yeah, I thought this was good. They come back from commercial break. There's a lot of faces sitting at ringside. Like I said earlier, you had the Grizzled Young Veterans. You had people like Odyssey Jones, Austin Theory was there. Obviously, they were like the groomsmen. Cora Jade was out there. Let's see who else. Trey Baxter was out there. Um, Ikemen Jiro. Um, obviously, Candice. Johnny Gargano was there. Um, there's just like there's a whole lot of faces. Um, but so it was really funny. Like I can't deny. Like I wasn't sure how I felt about this at first, but it was really funny, and I wasn't mad about it. There was a part where I think the priest was doing the spot like the usual thing in weddings that they do, where they're like, "Hey, if anyone has a reason why these two should not be wed, please please announce it now or whatever." Like everybody raised their hand up, and then Dexter kind of like opened up his jacket and he had an axe there, and everyone just slowly put their hands down, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, so we'll go ahead and go on with the wedding." I thought this was fucking hilarious. Um, yeah, so he showed the axe, he put the hands down. Um, Now they went to go do their vows. Indy kind of poured her heart out here. Everything. She like I said, she poured her heart out. And then it was Dexter's turn, and he just gave her a thumbs up. And the priest was not having it. He was like, really? Like you have nothing to say? Like this is gonna be someone that you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. You have nothing to say, and then he fucking put him to sleep. He put him in that sleeper hold thing that he does, and the priest got knocked out, which then led to Beth Phoenix coming in, where she said that she was like, "Oh yeah, I figured something like this would happen." So she went online and got an ordainment. Pretty much a free ordainment online to where she could wed people together. I thought this was funny. It's who'd have thought that Dexter would be such a funny fucking guy, right? Um, yeah, I thought it was good. There was a point where Beth Phoenix was like, "All right, let's cut to the chase," and then Andre Chase interrupted. He was like, "Did somebody say Andre Chase?" Then Johnny Gargano sitting across from him, and he's like, "No, nobody said that at all. Actually, like, what are you talking about? Nobody said that." I thought that that was funny. Also, Odyssey kind of like came up behind him and like put his hands in his shoulders and just fucking sat him back down. Uh, it looked like he was hitting them pressure points pretty hard, so um, I thought this was really good. But yeah, it came time to say I do, and Indy says I do, and Beth was going to ask Dexter. I can't remember exactly what she was saying, but he put his hand over the mic. He leaned into his mic, and then he said, "I do," which is the first words that we've heard him speak on WWE television, which I thought was cool. It was like a huge reaction out of the crowd. They were like, "Holy shit, he can speak!" Like nobody's heard his voice. This was really good. They ended up getting married. They are officially in kayfabe married. So interested to see what happens with this moving forward. But yeah, that was not what ended the night though. We had Ciampa backstage holding Goldie. Um, and he was looking on at the wedding. He was kind of smiling at it. He was like happy. And then Braun Breaker came up to him and was they had a bit of an interaction. They were shaking hands, but Braun kept putting his eyes on Goldie. And Ciampa noticed, and then they had like a bit of a face-off. And I believe we might get this match somewhere down the line in the future, and I'm excited for it. Braun was really good, and in his match with LA Knight, he has some promise in the ring for sure. So I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with both these men. Um, yes, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut this this segment short. Um, as I will finish recording the rest of the week later. It's gonna have to be in two parts. I have some work stuff to take care of, um, but yeah, thank you for turning into part one this week, where we covered Raw and uh, and NXT from Diavolo. And on behalf of Lunchbox, thank you for tuning in, and catch us back in part two. Peace out, guys.